In lesson 11.3, we're going to add some integers. And all integers are all the numbers that you see on a number line, the positives and negative numbers. So here are the rules. If your integers that you're adding have the same signs, what you're going to do is you're going to add the numbers. Sorry, that doesn't look good. Okay. Add the numbers and keep the sign. So what that means is that a positive plus a positive, you add them and it's still a positive. A negative plus a negative is still a negative. Okay, so here's some examples. Positive 2 and positive 6 is positive 8. Negative 2 plus negative 6 is negative 8. So you just add the numbers. 2 plus 6 was 8, and since both numbers were positive, the answer was positive. Negative 2 and negative 6, 2 plus 6 is 8, and since both numbers are negative, your answer is negative. So if they have the same signs, you add the numbers and keep the sign. Well, what if they have different signs? They tell you to find the absolute value of each integer and then subtract. But that sounds a little fancy. So let's say what it really means. What it really means is that if your numbers have different signs, you subtract the numbers and then you take the sign of the bigger number. Okay, so that's what that means. So here, positive 3 plus negative 7, well, I do 7 minus 3, and that gives me 4. Since they had opposite signs, I subtracted. So I knew my answer was a 4. And the negative 7 was bigger. 7 is bigger and it's negative, so therefore my answer is negative. What if the negative was on the other number? Negative 3 plus positive 7. They're opposite signs. You still subtract them to get 4. And this time the bigger number is positive, so my answer is positive. Okay, so that's if they have different signs, you subtract your numbers, and you take the sign of the bigger number. So now let's try some examples. And they're going to show us this on a number line. It's just another way to look at things. So we're going to do negative 3 plus negative 5. Well, they have the same signs, so I'm going to add. 3 plus 5 is 8, and since they're both negative, my answer is negative. Now let's see how we can get this on a number line. You start at 0, facing the positive direction, so that's what the little guy's doing here. I'm going to move left, I'm going to say left. Left 3 units for negative 3, so 1, 2, 3. Then, now I come over here. Then I move left 5 units for negative 5. So from that negative 3, which I was just right here, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more spaces to the left, because that's where negatives are. And I stop at negative 8, which means that negative 3 plus negative 5 is negative 8, which you see is the same answer we got just by using the rules that I showed you above. So let's try one with different signs. Okay, a football team loses 4 yards. So they lose 4 yards on one play. On the next play, they gain 7 yards. Well, a loss of 4 yards is going to be negative 4. And a gain of 7 yards is going to be a positive 7. Use the number line to find the sum. So again, we start at 0, face the positive direction. I'm going to move backwards 4 units for negative 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's negative 4. Then I'm going to move, so now we come over here. Then I'm going to move right 7 units for positive 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I stop at positive 3. So the result is a gain, because I got a positive answer, of 3 yards. But again, these have opposite signs. So you subtract your numbers. 7 minus 4 is 3. And then the bigger number was positive, so that means my answer is positive, which is exactly what we got with the number line. Okay, so now let's try on to ones where we don't have the number line. Okay. Let's come down a little bit. Yeah, I can fit that. Okay. So here we go. Find -6 plus -10. Okay. They have the same signs. So what are we going to do? We're going to add. 10 plus 6 is 16. And I know that this, if both numbers are negative, my answer is negative. So it's going to be -16. Okay, so now here's two more. These have opposite signs. Here's a positive number, here's a negative number. So for opposite signs, what do? We subtract. And we keep the sign of the bigger number. So we're going to ignore this stuff. Forget the absolute value stuff. So 10 minus 8 is 2. And my bigger number is negative, so my answer is negative. And then 16 minus 4 is 12. And my bigger number is positive, so my answer is positive. And that's it. Now you try the quick checks. There's 5 problems here. The first one, they want you to use a number line. You can use a number line if you want to, but you don't have to. If you just want to add the integers using your rules, remember, same sign, you add them and keep the sign. Opposite signs, you subtract them and take the sign of the bigger number. So try those quick checks and we'll check your work in class.